Hey, what's happening? What's going on? In today's video, we're actually going to be using a bit from a live stream that happened here on this channel, which happens every day, 8:20 Central, here on this YouTube channel, about what goes on in my head during a losing day. Unfortunately, it happens to everybody as day traders, so I think that this video will pretty much apply to you. It applies to me for sure, and maybe you can even apply some of my thought process to your own trading journey potentially. If you are able to apply anything, or if you've ever had a losing day, make sure you press that thumbs up button down below the video. It's free, it's quick, it's easy. It helps out the channel a ton on our journey to 100,000 subscribers. So I hope you enjoy this video and potentially learn something. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I just got a DM from PA who's probably watching the stream. And he says, it's kind of funny how people think that a loss means you should change something. This is a very important conversation to have. And this will be my last big little rant. Because you lose doesn't mean something is wrong. And this is very, 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 very important. This is something I struggled with a lot when I was first learning how to trade and getting into the trading scene. Was I would have a bad day, and so I would literally try and rework everything, right? I would overanalyze why I lost. I would overanalyze my strategy. I would try something new. I'd look for the next holy grail. I would do something different because I had a bad day. When a lot of times, a bad day comes from, one, your headspace. Two, there might be something in your strategy you need to tweak based off volatility or something that is out of your control. But if you have a proven strategy, this strategy is proven 100%, at least for me. The need to change something is literally setting yourself up for failure. At least in my opinion, right? If I was to go and try and change something about my strategy right now, I will lose tomorrow. Just plain and simple. If you are able to work at your strategy that you have an edge on, understand that you're going to have ups days. You're going to have really good days that make you feel like you're on top of the world. You're going to have really bad days that make you going to feel like you're a trash trader and you need to change something. Just don't change anything. Take a couple days off if you need to, but come back with the mindset and the emotional capital that says like, hey, this thing works. There's a reason that I'm saying I gave up 4 days of gains as instead of I lost $4,000 is because I made this money. It's money displaced at this point. It's nothing more than that, right? I made this money over the past week. I lost it today. Okay. But I know that because I made it over the last week, I have one bad day, 1 week emotional day, 1 week psychology day, that the next week I'm going to make it all back. No biggie. It's not even making it back because all I did was I gave it up, right? That is the mental switch that helped me. First off was, one, starting to think about giving it back as opposed to losing, right? Like I gave up a couple days of gains, but that doesn't mean next week I need to go and like crank to make that 4K. That's not how it works, right? I'll be very, very poorly off emotionally trying to feel like I'm playing catch up, and my trades will affect that. Well, my trades will show that, I guess is a better way to say that. The thought process shift of, hey, I already made this money, whether it be last month or this past week or whatever, I'm just giving up a little bit, like let's clean slate it and move on, allows me to do it over a bigger time frame, right? A great example is honestly the very first day of this year, January 1st. I had a day trading, like really, really bad. First day of the year, had a really bad day. Came back, had a really good night, best night I've ever had after one of the worst days I've ever had. It's just the way that trading works, right? But what that means moving forward is, one, I'm not focused on the really good night I had or the really bad day I had. It's about clean slating your brain so that you can actually like see the market clearly and understand that while you're going to have days where you give up profits that you had made before, you're also going to have days where you just like go on a freaking run and you're in like 3 weeks of really good trading. We've had 3 weeks of really good trading. This is the first bad day in like 3 weeks. It is what it is. It is what it is. It was literally bound to happen. It's guaranteed. It's one of the only guarantees in trading is that you're not going to win every day, right? So first off, that mental psychology switch really helps. Second off, don't feel the need to change your strategies just because you had one losing day. That is not the way that it works. You will be in a forever loop of trial and error if you change every day you have a losing day, right? The goal should be, as a trader, to find a strategy that works a majority of the time. After that, it comes down to figuring out what you're comfortable with, right? What you're comfortable making, what you're comfortable losing, keeping those losing days as small as you can, depending on your strategy, doing whatever you can do. It's part of business. You got to pay to play. And if you're switching up your strategy every single day you have a losing day, you will be in a forever loop, always searching for the next best thing, always failing because you have failed to actually put in the work required to master a strategy. It's like, this is another thing. Last thing on this same topic, which, look at the volume flip just then. Last thing on this topic is the same idea, and I struggle with this as well, of like, I just had a bad losing day on the Nasdaq. Let me go try and trade the ES. Let me go try and trade gold. Let me go try and trade crude oil. When the matter of the fact is, it's not that the asset was wrong or that your strategy was wrong. It's just you had an off day. You're going to lose, right? If you're trying to flip different assets all the time because you sucked trading one day at this one or 1 week at this one, you're not going to understand the price action on the new one. You're not going to understand the way it works, the way it responds to news, or even if it has news at all. Stick with it. Just stick with it. And this comes down to like the whole big concept of like sticking with trading, right? Everybody blows up accounts. Everybody has days that they wish they didn't have. Everybody has losing days, but you got to stick to it. Anywho, all that to say, maybe that struck a chord, maybe it didn't. If it struck a chord to one person, it was worth it. But I think that it is worth talking about not flipping your strategies after one losing day, not flipping your instrument because of a losing day, not freaking out because of a losing day, not freaking out because of a winning day. Well, a lot of people don't understand that the feelings that you experience right now are the exact same feelings that you experience on a really big day. And I know that sounds confusing because you lost money, but the exact same feelings apply, right? It's just two different ends of the spectrum. It's two different ends of the spectrum. One feels really good, one feels really bad. Both are going to totally up the next morning because you're either going to be extremely greedy or extremely passive based on whatever happened, right? You're either going to be so locked in because you feel like you're the freaking god at trading that you're going to miss stuff, or you're going to be so like peeled out that you're going to actually miss the different opportunities. But yeah, all that to say, it is mentally taxing to have really big days and to have really small days. Or not small days, losing days, right? Really big winning days, really big losing days. It is mentally taxing. It is emotionally taxing on both sides. And it is very challenging to conquer both on the emotional spectrum. However, it is absolutely required as a day trader in order to be successful in the long run to conquer both the big wins and the big losses, you know? So all that to say, massive rant that started with me saying, don't worry about me, I'm fine. I gave up a couple days of gains. Who cares? But I think it's very important